Coming to you live from downtown Detroit, this is Benzinga's PreMarket Prep with your host, Joel Elconin.
This is a volatile puppy here, isn't it?
And Dennis Dick.
I'm bidding a penny. I will buy the stock for a penny.
With everything you need to start your trading day.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this Monday edition of Benzinga's Pre-Market Prep. Spencer Israel here with Joel Elconin. Not Dennis Dick. Not Dennis Dick. You're trying to interrupt me. I'm doing my thing. Joel Elconin is with us. He's back. But Dennis is on vacation, so we are joined by a special guest host today, and that is one Jason Raznick. He's the founder and CEO of Benzinga. We'll bring him on in just a second. But this is a special week here on Pre-Market Prep. We're going to do things a little bit differently in advance of our Women's Wealth Forum. That's March 21st in Boston. We are going to be highlighting different women across finance the entire week on the show. People that we've spoken to before. We've had, our regulars, Anne-Marie Band, Kiana, Danial, but we're also going to have a new guest from the brokerage space and around from hedge funds, women from around finance, and going to highlight their kind of how they got to where they were on this week's shows. With the people who talk about the markets, we'll obviously discuss the markets with them. So on today's show, we are going to be joined by, first up at 8:15, we are going to be joined by Nicole LaPointe. She is Benzinga's events director. And then we are followed by, at 8:35, Lydia Idem Finkley. If you listen to our show, you've heard of her. She's a Forex trader, author of faithmightfx.com. And then at 9 a.m., we're going to be joined by Kiana Danial, CEO of InvestDiva. Joel, you want to give us some levels to start off the bat?
Just a nice follow through on the rally from Friday. S&P's up 1075 at 2759.50. Made that overnight low 42.50. That was real quick. You had to be in front of your computer around 8 o'clock last night to catch that. Pre-market high 61.50. Now we are trading at the highest levels since we had that big break down to 25.29. Bitcoin, you guys let me know if you want to stop talking about it. Struggling to get over 10,000, trading up about 1% at 9,800. Crude 63.58. Nice rally in the crude market. Gold on the rebound, up 890 at 1339.20. Silver in the green as well, trading up 22 cents at 1670. Before we get to the markets, let's bring in Jason. Jason, this is been looking forward to doing a show with you for a long time here. Did you listen to what Mr. Buffett had to say over the weekend?
Oh yeah. Well, it's great being on. I've been looking forward to doing a show with you as well, Joel. And it's great. Spencer Israel, woke up in time to make it to the show today as well. But yeah, if you live in the United States and Buffett talks, you got to listen. There's more education in that 10-page, 20-page letter than anything you'll learn in school. I sent it to the whole company because, stuff he talked about margin, about, the market. He gave you the best examples about why buying a margin in the short term is one of the worst things you could possibly do. He showed how, Berkshire fell 50% twice in the past 20 years. And, look where it's at today. It's just when you hear him write, you can hear him talking, and he explains the markets like you're a 10-year-old. And it's the easiest thing to read and also just ridiculously educational.
And you, Pat, you're a long-term investor, buy and hold and hold and hold. How would you convince Mr. Buffett to own shares of Tesla?
Okay, so I don't know who's listening right now, but who wants to come in for a little Model 3 test run? We got a Model 3 down the street from us. I think we're going to be here on Thursday. We're going to have a little Benzinga Model 3 test run around the city of Detroit. If you want to come and check that out, email us at events@benzinga.com. This Model 3 is, it's just, if you don't hold it, Warren Buffett's not going to hold a Tesla at this point, just like he didn't buy Apple until, last year.
True.
So
true. That's right.
It's not a pick that Warren Buffett would, take, but I don't know. Joel, do you?
That was a tough question.
No, but Joel, do you believe the sun's going to come out tomorrow?
Yes.
So if you believe the sun's going to come out tomorrow, then Tesla is a position that you should look at. Australia, Puerto Rico, when the power goes out, who fixes that? One company in the world, Tesla. In 90 days, they got up a power grid. And you could say, well, they can only get it up because of, solar energy. Well, again, if you don't believe the sun's going to come out, then you're right. Then you should short Tesla. If you believe the sun's going to come out tomorrow, Tesla's a thing you should look at.
It's much more than a car company, and that's
it's much more than a car company and the innovation that they're that it's doing. Hey, listen, I've been told I'm an idiot about this for many a months, and only time will tell. That's why Mr. Market is the best. So
price don't lie.
Price don't lie over the long run. Over the short term, it does. I mean, I was short those mortgage stocks, Countrywide, Washington Mutual. In the short term, I got killed. But over the long run, you saw what they did. I'm talking about, back in the day when all the mortgages and stuff fell. So yeah, that's what I would say to that. And then it's interesting. Buffett. They keep asking Buffett why he went so big in Apple, and he's not saying why. He's like, that's proprietary. So
Jason, pop quiz. What is Buffett's largest stake right now? Do you know?
Apple or Wells Fargo?
American Express. He owns 17.6% of American Express.
Interesting. I mean, that's interesting. American Express is a powerful company, especially, businesses, high net worth, and the earnings are pretty predictable. It's a very strong company. It's very strong promotional network effects. American Express, when you remember when Costco and American Express ended that deal?
Yes, I do.
That was a chance to buy the stock. Everyone's like, that was a bad move. But American Express looked at the numbers, and they weren't making the margins that they make. American Express is good at making margins. It's really good at building in, promotions and, Delta Sky Miles, this thing, the W. It's like it has all these operations. I mean, it's one of the best almost financial incubators for different promotional programs. So I could see that. I wonder if he's been building that up or what. I mean, that's a good one. I do not own any American Express, for fair disclosure.
I'll just, while we're at it, I'll just read off his other largest holdings. 9.9% of Wells Fargo, 9.4% of Coke, 8.1% of Southwest, 6.8% of Bank of America, 3.3% of Apple, and 3% of Goldman Sachs. So those right there are Buffett's.
And you remember he got Goldman Sachs at an extremely cheap price during the, when everyone was selling,
right.
and so. And that's what Buffett does. He does the opposite, and over time, it's proved out. I mean, I remember when I was looking at those Berkshire A shares at 72,000 a share, and then the Bs at like 3,000. Well, those were times to buy, and those were when people were like, oh, how could you ever buy it in the market right now? So it changes, and when you listen to a guy like Buffett who's been around for so many years. I mean, Spencer Israel, I know you're very, very long crypto, and look at
I am not very, very long.
I think his best, he's made a lot of great calls. I think like the Bank America at like $6-7 when he was in his bathtub sipping a Coca-Cola. I thought that was absolutely amazing. All right, let's we got someone coming on, a special guest coming on at 8:15 to talk about the women's event. Let's cover a little bit of news and a few stocks.
All right. Well, I have a question about, I don't know what the news is this morning, but the stocks that are moving, Chinese education stocks, tickers TAL and EDU. Let's just do one at a time. I don't know what the news is. But they're both getting cracked here this morning. So Joel, can you do some technicals real quickly on TAL?
TAL. Oh, yeah. The U.S. education stocks have been in the dumper for a long time here, and I know there was some fraud issues with or child abuse issues with some of these companies. So once you get news like that, I think it's kind of hard to stay long a company. But just from a pre-market perspective here, we are trading in the red here by almost $3 to 35.85. Had a great day on Friday. So let's see what happens at the 2-day low is what you got to pay attention to. 34.88. And that's a nice level to keep an eye on. Currently trading down $3. And what was
EDU?
EDU. So let's take a look. Man, these things are not, you can see the net change here. EDU, that's trading down $4 here, $3.95 at 92 even. That stack had a nice run on Friday. For this one, I would try and hold out for the lower 90s. You had a low back on February 15th at 89.63.
All right, not a ton of earnings today, but there's one that I want to hit on. Dean Foods, ticker DF, Q4 adjusted EPS 25 cents, missed by a penny. Sales of 1.93 versus 1.96. So a miss on both the top and bottom line for Q4 for Dean Foods. Their fiscal year guidance coming in a little bit light, EPS at least.
Every time I see this stock, it's around $10. Good news, it goes up. Bad news, it goes down. $10 has been a long-term level for this. Taking a look at the pre-market trading, you had a spike low down to $9. You have recovered 16 cents off that, so a little bit of a rebound. Nice whole number at 9. Keep an eye on that level as well, as your February 6th low was $9.08.
And then I want to move over to the gun stocks this morning that are just getting cracked, and last week too.
What are they doing now? Are they down a lot again?
Yeah, they've been getting kind of cracked for the past couple of weeks, ever since that unfortunate shooting in Florida. But what's interesting is normally you see these things rally after an event
Totally.
like that. Not the case here. I just pulled up RGR on the chart, but you can go to American Outdoor Brands. There's a couple others as well. But which one are you looking at here, Joel?
I'm just going to give it just a general comment,
Sure.
And there's just the press. I mean, there's a lot of negative news. How many companies dumped the NRA?
Yeah, at least a half dozen that I've seen.
Yeah, I mean, not getting super political and stuff. I mean, guns, people getting the people's guns hands, but it's the people. And, there's a big fight here coming up. President Trump has made some comments as this. I just never been an owner of gun stocks. Now they're talking about funds that are in gun stocks are under pressure. So there's just a lot of political issues, something I've never had in my portfolio and something I won't be adding soon, and no matter on what kind of decline.
Before we get to Nicole and talking about a woman event, Uncle Warren Buffett talked about the gun stocks this morning, and he was saying, you got to separate your personal views and your company views. Berkshire deals with distribution of tobacco. Walmart and Costco sell a lot of tobacco. It's bad for you. They sell it. You got to remove your personal view. Like Warren's point is his personal views. Should that impact 330,000 employees on Berkshire? So he really took a stance, two separate things, and was not, negative on the gun stocks, and not actually the stock, but just the gun companies. I thought that would provide a little bit of a balance the way he answered the question. But so it's a very interesting thing, and I don't think it's going to die right now. Meaning the gun stocks and this, the whole NRA debate. People are very motivated to change things. I'm actually going to meet with Michigan Senator today at 5:00. And he's running for Michigan congressman. He's running for Senate, though, for the next election. And it's going to be very interesting. I'm going to meet with him, and I asked 3 people what I should ask him. Each person to a T said, ask him what his views are on the NRA gun stocks. Will he take money from NRA? He's running for a Republican. But that's what they said. That's the only thing they said. So I think, Joel, I think you're right. I think, yes, it's the person, but I don't think this media, jumping on this thing is going to die down anytime soon. So it's a tricky sector to be on. And Spencer Israel, like you said, the stock usually go up when this stuff happens. But, so.
One more final comment. And all politicals aside, everything, relative performance of these stocks is horrible. And here you are in one of the greatest bull market of all time. If this is where you want to put your money and you want to invest in these stocks, that's fine. But you just got to look at Mr. Market. A lot of things that we talk about on the show. Are there better places to put your money? There are better places to put my money than in gun stocks. So, Spencer, what do we got coming up?
It's 8:14. We're going to take our first of 3 breaks for the day. We're going to bring on. Yes.
Before you take your break, and I don't know who's in the chat room. So you guys are not in the chat room. You go to premarket.benzinga.com and you join the chat room. I'd love to do a survey. They don't play music during breaks because people said, "Oh, it disrupted them."
Right.
I think it's terrible that there's no music because I think personally. But let me finish this out, Spencer. I think personally that I think the show was broke down because I listened to it on YouTube sometimes. And if you guys think there should be music during the breaks, please chime into the chat room and say, please, music. Put music or put number 1. If you don't think there should be music, put the number 2. So if you think there should be music, go to PreMarket Prep or premarket.benzinga.com. 1 for music, 2 for no music.
We had music, and then we were.
I know you guys
okay.
got rid of it, and I'm really against your decision on
Okay.
this. So
All
please
right.
give me a lot of ones, okay?
All right, let's talk about it. During the break, we're going to grab Nicole LaPointe, Benzinga's director of events. We'll be right back with Nicole. Welcome back, everyone, to Benzinga's Pre-Market Prep. Spencer Israel, joined by Jason Raznick, and now Nicole LaPointe next to me here. She is Benzinga's director of events. Nicole, thanks for coming on. I wanted to get you on this morning in particular because our Women's Wealth Forum is coming up on March 21st in Boston. You are
What's the URL for that Women's Wealth Forum?
bzforum.com is the URL for
like BZ, then FOR.
Yes.
UM or
yes.
FORM? Okay.
FRUM. That is the URL. And Nicole, you're sort of in charge of running the event. First question is, what was like the impetus? Why are we having this event?
Yeah, this event is taking place March 21st. And the reason that we did it is we decided that as an organization, we wanted to help fill the gap for young up and coming millennials in the financial industry. There is not as many women in finance as we would like. And so we decided to take a stand and fill the gap.
Give us the type of people who are going to be at the Women's Wealth Forum.
Sure. So there are it's broken down into 3 segments, really. We have a student segment. So we are going to be doing a lot of recruiting. Over 100 students are already registered from Yale, Harvard, Columbia. Then we also have a B2C element. We have speakers from AARP and different B2C business to consumer products. So we are going to help women to be financially stable. Then we have the B2B component, business to business. The people like Kelly Kehoe from JP Morgan will be speaking, and the CMO of Stash, Dale Sperling.
Now, I'm not sure why we're having a little echo, so apologize for that. But Nicole, what types of talk about the program that we're going to have there? Like, what types of panels or events will there be?
Sure. So we have several different panels throughout the day and many breaks. We have breaks for recruitment. So people who are recruiting at our event can recruit to over 100 college students. We also have different workshops that are taking place on the main stage, 10-minute workshops, so people can understand different platforms and how to become financially stable. And then we also have different panels throughout the day.
So who's the event really for? Is it like for students, young professionals, older professionals? Is it for people in who are traders, people who are more on the fintech side of things? A lot of our events are fintech based. Who would you say the event is for?
All of the above, really. So I would say that it's for students. It's for people who want to learn more about how to become financially stable and take ownership of their finances. And it's also for people to make connections in the industry.
Any last thing you want people to know about the Benzinga Women's Wealth Forum?
We're really excited about this first event. And if you would like to participate or attend, we have a promo code for you. It's just PMP, and that gets you half off the ticket. So tickets are $397, and you would receive it for $198.50.
So again, bzforum.com. Go to the registration page, and the code is PMP. And when is that? How long is that good for?
That's good for this whole week.
All right, there we go. Jason, you got a question?
Well, it's good for the whole week. Well, tickets last, because I know if you guys go to the BZ Forum speakers page, look at the amount of speakers and attendees we have on this page. It's who's who of industry. So just know that they're there while tickets last. It's going to be a super exciting event at a sweet venue, and bringing everyone in this industry in the room. So meet some of the Benzinga people there, meet all the great speakers. If you just go to the BZ Forum homepage, you'll see some of the amazing people we'll have in the room. So just get them quick, because the tickets are selling fast.
Yep, and the event is hard to believe it's actually around the corner, March 21st. It doesn't feel like we're almost there, but we're almost in March, as crazy as that is to
Yes.
say. Nicole LaPointe, thanks so much for hopping on today. I appreciate the time.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, I'm going to get Joel back on here in a second, and I want to we're going to do some more markets talk for now. We have we're going to do with our guests this week, who are capital markets and stock market focus. We're going to talk about what we normally would with them, but again, the overall theme of the week is going to be we're highlighting the women that are going to be at our event, and just women across finance in general. So Joel, any move in this morning so far in the S&Ps at all?
Well, first of all, they say what kind of food they're having?
Oh, that's all. That's all you care about.
That's all. Yeah, that's
Nicole, what kind of food are we having? She doesn't.
That's all I care about.
All right, that's all I care about.
Top of the line.
Top of the line.
It's, if you don't have your flight booked, you should book it. Boston, I'll be there.
Great
Many
MC.
others. Come on, it's the event to be at, March 21st, and you'll meet a great networking event.
All right. Everything's moving pretty much in sync here with the S&Ps. I can give you, Dennis's line. The S&Ps are trading up 0.3%. You have a lot of stocks that are trading a little bit higher than that. Apple's up 0.5%, along with Google. Amazon's over 1,500. So as we stand right now here, the stocks are trying to stay up with the S&Ps. The S&Ps went out a little bit under fair value. We're now trading about $10 over fair value. So me is always looking at that pre-market high, 61.50. And folks, also, I just want to note, this is the highest level we've traded at, since we had the big break and the big correction. So we had a couple days where we came down very, very hard, and then we rallied back. But this is the area where, people are either going to lighten up or say, hey, we just got to get back in this market. We missed buying the dip, and now we got to get back in. So SPOO's up 9 at 57.75.
Shares of Teva taking a hit this morning off of some Buffett comments. He said, I'm reading this now directly from the Pro. Shares of Teva are falling after Buffett says that Berkshire's investment in the company was made by one of his investment deputies, Todd Combs or Ted Wessler. And I assume, take it to me, that was not made by Buffett himself. So shares of Teva are getting hit this morning off of that news.
Well, I think we got to go back to how we talk about these stocks and how do we react to the stocks when the news comes out off the filings. And a lot of times they like to say, I don't know who it was in the Google chat, but they're like, should I go out and buy Teva today? And they're like, well, if you were buying Teva on the day that was announced, that's when it made the high of the move at 21.56 and closed at 21.81. So you're going in after the fact. The company's already taken the position. So instead, I was trying to take a little bit of a, more of a, relaxed perspective. I said, maybe this thing comes down and fills the gap. And that just means the area and price where it was trading. And now it's only 15, 20 cents away from there. The fact that it wasn't his idea that doesn't resonate as much because if he thought it was a bad idea or he didn't want it in his portfolio, I think he would have the overriding, veto on it. So, everyone was buying when he said he got into it. Now everyone's, and that was the top. Now everyone's selling when he said it wasn't his idea. I mean, that's just my contrarian self coming out here. But these stocks are cheap. They've come down off their highs. If they can solve their debt problems, you don't know what they have in the pipeline. I don't know. I'd be more of a fader on this one than, all panicking. If I bought it the day he got in, I certainly wouldn't be selling it because he said something on CNBC.
And if you're going to buy it off of just because if you're going to buy it just because he says he bought it, and then you're going to sell it because it wasn't his idea, then
what are you doing in the market?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. All right. I want to move on. Yep.
So on this Teva and these plays, so I mean, there's part of it, Joel, that people are looking for trades each day, right? And so you may not have the long-term feel for it, but it's just you're looking for trades each day. I mean, we're here on a Monday. What is hot? What are the catalysts today that we should go after? I mean, you brought up Tesla earlier. I don't know if there's a real catalyst today on a Tesla, but what are the catalysts today? What are those plays?
Well, Buffett is the catalyst this morning.
You're right. He's the catalyst today, this morning. So what other ones will be in play off of Buffett? He's a big owner of Apple. He keeps talking about it. Are there any tertiary plays off Apple? What else out there? Is he on Apple because it's a contemplate? He said it's the strongest consumer business around. So what else is out there? Then Samsung is announcing their new phone today, or they did this weekend. So I'm just trying to think what else is out there. I mean, I was looking at the ticker and I see Riot down a little bit, and that one's always in play just because it's a mark of a lot of controversy. For the Bulls and for the Bears, both sides. So I'm just trying to find, what else, Joel?
What else? Well, what moves stocks the most? And what moves stocks the most is earnings. And we do have a couple earnings plays here. We have an announcement from 3 that we did, the Dean Foods. I mean, the only other, Hibbett Sports, do we have those numbers? And the only reason I bring that up is because when we had Reverend Emmanuel Lemelson on this show, when this thing was down actually at the lows of the move, when it was right around $10, he was pounding the table on it, trading up 40 cents in the pre-markets, over double since then. And when I talked to him recently, he said he was holding on.
Okay.
Yep. What is the news on?
We have some guidance this morning from Hibbett Sports. It's not earnings. I think it's just the guidance announcement. But Q4, they see their Q4 EPS at 40 to 44 cents versus a 31 cent estimate, and their sales estimate is also higher their sales guidance is also higher than the estimate. So we have guidance this morning that's better than expected out of Hibbett Sports.
All right. And nice rally up. And when I'm looking at this, there's good news. It's trading up 40 cents in the pre-market. Great level for people to trade on. If you're looking to trade the stock today, long-term, short-term, if it's something in your portfolio, got to keep an eye on 2630. That's your pre-market high. That stock had a high on the 15th at 26 and a quarter. And it also had a high at 26 and a quarter on January 23rd. So there's 3 different times that this stock has tested, including the action today. So there, if you're trading it from the long side, you want to exit there, something to look at. If you're a pure momentum breakout trader here, breaks above 2630, got something from the long side. But if you're just a fader and you want to short, that's a potential area to short too. So a lot of plays off 2630. The other number I like to keep an eye on when the stock has earnings and is trading in the green is the closing price. And your closing price from Friday was 25 and a quarter. We're trading at 26.65. Do not want to see it go red on the session if the street really likes the earnings. And Angie, baby, who's coming on the show tomorrow at 9:15. She's a frequent listener of the Pre-Market Show. She uses it for her long-term and her short-term investing. She is in it, and maybe we'll get her opinion on HIBP. Get her target tomorrow when Angie Baby comes on.
Okay, and then so one thing I was like, hey, what's in? Can you guys hear me? I want to know what's in play today. Today.
Yep.
So what do I do? So I'm sitting here, guys. I'm looking at other plays. You guys are talking Buffett, and so I opened my Benzinga Pro account. BenzingaPro.com, and I go to the screener, and I clicked pre-market, and I see right on top the biggest gainers and losers in the pre-market. There's a company. I don't know if this is too small for you guys to cover.
Okay.
But it's
nothing's too small.
We cover everything.
Nothing's too small.
It's a $50 million market cap.
And that's pretty small.
Well, it's NXT. It's NXT. Well, he said Angie made me think of NXT. So .id. So NX. The symbol is N as in Nancy, X is Alpha, T is in Tom, D is in dog. It's up 22% this morning. I don't know if it's if there's technicals on it. It's moving wildly this morning.
Well, first we check the news. Spencer, do we have news on this from our trusty Benzinga Pro?
On NXT, Jason's right. This might actually be too small for us. NXTD. The only news that we have is that they announced payments, a partnership with Discover to extend payments to IoT, so Internet of Things devices. So a partnership with Discover, which that I assume Discover is using NXTD technology, which would take it as good news. But that's all we got so far on NXTD.
But, okay, so then what? All right, Spencer, I'm going to give you a little test here. So you got a lower price stock moving in the pre-market off news. You see the price actions up 25%, 55 cents at 273. What would you go? Forget the price. What would you look at here?
Volume.
There you go.
There we go. I learned.
You go. All right. So this stock traded, it traded 370,000 shares on Friday, 750 the day before. So I'm going to go to the pre-market trading, and you know what? There's some volume being out here. Some people are taking stock in the news. Quick glance at this, I'd say it's already traded 250,000 of shares. This stock has been left for dead money. What else do you want to check? If a low price stock is moving up on volume and it's good volume, what else do you want to check?
Oh man, I was prepared.
Jason, what else would you want to check?
I don't.
Low price stock, good news, trading on heavy volume.
If I were you, I would.
Brent would know.
Luke, if I were you, Joel, if I were you, I would check the prior day's close.
We check the prior day's close, but there's another key thing, and we talk about it a lot on this show.
Options, but there's no,
not options.
I didn't think so.
What would be like? What would get licking your chops? Okay, let's say you had no position in the stock.
Oh, I would insider buys. I mean, that's for me.
No, I got. Come on, chat, help me out here.
That's me.
What would be the thing where you would say, man, oh gosh, man, I'm gonna put some pain on some people in this stock today?
The short interest.
Exactly. So we have a race for the short interest. What's the short interest in the stock? I did all that.
You did all that.
The short interest.
Yeah, I'll pull it up real fast. I don't know it off the top of my head. NXTD. I use shortsqueeze.com for this.
Well, I use Benzinga Pro, but that's just me.
Well, it's actually good they use Benzinga Pro because shortsqueeze.com does not have the short interest for NXTD. Man, this stock is small.
So,
I'm sorry, they do. 1 point.
Okay,
sorry.
so
not much.
Okay. 1.7.
So even though there's not a big short interest, to me, shorting this thing and just trying to say, okay, this is ridiculous, stupid move. What's your reward? Right now, it's trading $2.85. That's the most you can make. If big guns, because some funds decide, hey, let's trade the daylights out of this today. They can run this thing to $5, $7, $8, $10, right?
Yeah. Since I started talking about it, it's risen another 8%. This is again symbol NXTD. N is in Nancy, X is Alpha, and T is in Tom, D is in dog. It's it's up 22%. Now we're up about 32%. You're right. I mean, you got to look at your upside and your probabilities. When people invest, I think one thing that Joel, that a lot of people miss is probabilities. What's the likelihood of something to happen, and then what's your upside potential? So if your upside is 200%, your probability is 8% of that. Or if you're downside, you got to look at that and calculate that. I don't know. People play blackjack, and that's what investing in some respect. There's rules for blackjack. You hit if the dealer's showing a 10 and you have a 15, you hit. investing in the market has to become so predictable like that. Like you follow your rules, you follow the probabilities, and over time you do that, you have a better odds of beating the market.
398 was your high in January. So, hey, that's a potential target. Your December high was 859. So if you're looking for cover on the short side, you got a ways to go. All right, Spencer, 835. We're going to bring in our second guest of the day. Who do you got for us?
Yep, this is a trader we've had on the show before, Lydia Idem Finkley. She's a Forex trader and the author of FaithMightFX.com. We'll be right back with Lydia. Welcome back, everyone, to Benzinga's PreMarket Prep. Spencer Israel, Joel Elconin, Jason Raznick, and we are on now with Lydia Idem Finkley. She's a Forex trader. FaithMightFX.com is her site. Lydia, how's it going today?
Pretty good. How are you guys?
We're doing well. What are you watching in the markets right now? Anything jumping out to you this morning?
Lots of pound strength, but not really. And I say that only because the dollar is trying to weaken and it's trying to strengthen, at least against the pound. And I'm also looking at the euro. Euros actually came off quite a bit last week, but the particular pound, I look at it particularly against the pound, and it's been range bound. So it's at the bottom of the range, and like fingers crossed, are we going to get a break, or are we going to get more of the same kind of consolidation pattern? So some of the things that are jumping out, and I guess in an hour, I'm really interested to see what equities do.
All right, we're joined here by Lydia Idem Finkley. Focuses on the Forex markets, also the equities markets. But you're joining us pretty early here for you, right? You're over there on the West Coast. So how do I know I've asked you this before, but for people that are out there, like, how is your trading day set up, and what kind do you go to bed real early, go to bed real late? How do you adjust? I know the currency market's 24 hours, but as far as trading the equities and the news overnight, how do you set up your trading day and your trading night?
Okay, so it's evolved. It's definitely evolved. I would say when I first started trading Forex, I was staying up all night. I could stay up all through the night and probably into maybe the New York fix easily. And then life, you get older, you can't really do it like that anymore, right? So now I actually go to bed a little bit earlier than I used to, meaning that I'm looking at some of Asia and I'm missing the European Open. And I wake up probably right around 4 my time. So that's 7 on the East Coast. So before, the New York Open, at least when we talk about Forex, the New York Open about. So yeah, I'm waking up early. This is not that early, at least as a Forex trader. This is nothing. But It is, yeah, it's dark out here, and it's still, it's early morning over here, but it has evolved, and it is early morning. I think these are the best times to trade the Forex markets, actually. It's what I tell, beginning traders is really the sweet spot of the market in Forex. So for me, it's great. It's just been an evolution of finding, my balance. But I do think we have to get up early if you're over here on the West Coast.
Quick question, Lydia. As someone myself, I'm not super far removed from college. At what point did you realize that your sleep schedule was not sustainable the way it was?
Let's see. I'm in my late 30s, so I probably would say about 5 years ago. So I think you have a good 10 years before this all kind of catches up with you.
Question coming out of the chat here. Any major differences between Forex and futures that makes you go towards one or the other? Comment on that, please.
Yeah. I mean, futures has that added factor of time that you have to consider with your trades, or, with your, I would say with your orders. With the Forex, because it's spot, I'm talking spot Forex. Spot Forex is real time, and you're really trying to catch moves as they're happening, as opposed to trying to and I'll say, I think with futures, you have to consider fundamentals a little bit more because you have that added time factor. So you kind of have to do a little bit of forecasting out. And I don't trade futures, so futures traders will correct me here. But I think with spot Forex, we're talking real time, nice liquid price action that is, 24/7.
Moving on here, the big thing, Jerome Powell test. By the way, Raz, your stock is now trading 3 1/4 here, up $1.07. The rally continues here. Our pre-market traders are hopping on NXTD here. 398 was your January high. Interest rates, Jerome Powell going in front of both committees on Tuesday. Big change, from Janet Yellen. She can't complain with how the market's performed. And here you have a new guy taking over interest rates. Everyone's scared of the yield on the 10-year. Personally, 3, 3.5, 4. I still think there's good returns in the market. How do you trade these kind of events? Is this kind of, you just take your hands off the keyboard and just let the market battle it out, take positions ahead of time? What are you looking for from Mr. Powell's testimony?
Well, I think you do both. So really setting up on a Sunday when the market's open, well, Forex markets are opening up, and you take a look at your setups. As a technical trader, these kind of events don't bother me. I won't pull orders off. I won't pull trades off in the midst of news. I allow my setups to set up regardless. So usually these kind of news events I look forward to because they will trigger trades. They'll actually move markets in the direction of my setup, right? They'll either correct the markets and I can get in, or they'll rally them off, and hopefully I'm already in and I'm in the right direction, right? So no, I don't allow fundamentals to sway me from my setups. The technicals are the technicals, and I find that they work really, really well, particularly in Forex. So I would say do not allow news events to remove you from the setups that you see. You should pull the trigger on a setup. Even in the midst of the news, if your setup is setting up, you should pull that trigger.
Sticking with your trading rules. Okay, let's move on. We have the Women's Wealth Forum coming up here next month, and you're a woman in the finance industry. I guess, talk about your career path and, I don't want to say any obstacles or anything that, over your experience that you'd like to share with our listeners.
Sure. I think my career has evolved because I came at it as a trader, first trading her own account, and then evolved that into becoming a registered investment advisor, coaching and mentoring other students or other beginning traders. So my path is a little unorthodox than most. And I think the biggest thing for me was finding mentors and finding other like-minded traders. And I think in the beginning now there's a lot more women who are more public or more out there with their analysis and with their services. But in the beginning, I just talked to traders, and it wasn't that it was gender specific. Yes, it was a lot of guys. It's going to be a lot of guys. And I think guys were really accepting of me once they really saw that, obviously I know my stuff. So I think that as traders, period, we're always looking for individuals who really know their system, really know the market, and then the respect then comes there. So I would say really embrace your uniqueness. I think as a woman, embrace how you look at markets and don't be afraid, and put it out there fearlessly. Just put it out there. And if you're right, you're right. And if you're wrong, you're wrong. You know, I think with the markets, it's pretty much, the markets will tell the story. You know, they will prove you right or wrong. You don't need opinions of others. And after that, then you get the, you know, the kudos and the accolades. So I think my career has been very organic, and I'm really appreciative of the reception that I've gotten, because, you know, I didn't come straight out of college and come straight into, you know, Wall Street or finance like that.
Yeah, and Lydia, this is Jason Radzic speaking. We've known each other for many, many years. We probably go back 10 years now. And, you know, we'd meet up at different events, and you'd be one of the few females in the audience. And, what this Benzinga Wealth Forum, a Women Wealth Forum, bzforum.com, is, we want to help bridge the divide. We want to get more women investing in positions of, making decisions. In the financial advisor world, 80% of financial advisors are men. And so, we're doing a big fintech job recruiting fair at it, because I love what you said about, making stuff happen. You went after your results. Like, it wasn't like, hey, I'm a female, that's why this. It was, you were after your results, and you earned that respect. I mean, you were, there was tons of people jumped in the Forex market, and you've been through it and stayed true to it, and garnered all that respect in the space. And so it's like I like your outlook on it, and just our place is like we're trying to help bring more people into this space and get more people to not make this such a fear-driven industry. Now, how did you originally decide, or like what was that first impetus, like, hey, I'm gonna start trading Forex? Like, what was that move? Would you trade equities before? Like, how does someone like you get into this?
Yes, I was trading equities before, and not day trading. So I was a buy and hold girl back then when it worked, right?
Yeah.
So, I was doing equities, and honestly, it was my mom. So she must have seen, I don't know what she was saying. She was watching CNBC, and she saw, learned about the Forex market. And I was coming home. I had just graduated from graduate school, from business school. And she said, come with me and learn about how to trade foreign exchange. And I was like, you can't do that, because only, in my mind, you can only do stocks, right? And so I said, you can't do that. And as soon as I said you can't do that, I realized you must be able to do that. And I went with her to this just training. It was a seminar, and it just clicked. It just made a lot of sense. The liquidity, trading against pairs, and the buying and the selling, moving in being able to take positions on both sides of the market fairly easily. It just really made a lot of sense to me. It was from there that I learned technical analysis. So with stocks at that time, you could really be a fundamental trader, and I'm sure you can be now. But then you could really be a fundamental trader if you knew the company, if you knew that particular market or that product, you could make a trade, or you could take it in position. But with Forex, I found that you really couldn't do that. And I think most of us find that you really can't jump in because interest rates went up. It doesn't mean the dollar or the pound or whatever it is going to rally, right? So I really became and honed in on my technical analysis through spot Forex. But I mean, all the credit goes to my mother.
Got it. I mean, because, I love to hear how people got into it. Like I got into investing because I was, looking at companies like, hey, I could, find the next hot one, or I could find, put value on it. It's the same thing you did in Forex, and, and it's getting that first, that first catalyst to why, how you get in the industry. And that's kind of what we try and do with the, the Women Wealth Forum. We're trying to expose people to different investing industries or at least this industry, when a lot of people aren't exposed to it. So that's kind of, so.
I have a question, Lydia.
Sure.
When you said you were talking to traders earlier in your career, how exactly do you find traders to talk to?
Social media. So before that, most of us, I think I admittedly bought a system. And with that system came a lot of training, a lot of support. And through that, we had chat rooms. And it was in that chat room, actually, I met one other woman who was having some success as well. And our trainer became my first mentor. And he is the person who taught me Fibonacci. He taught me support and resistance. He taught me how to look at levels and how to see how price reacts off levels. And me and this other woman really, you know, hounded him with questions. And we called each other fellow lady traders. And we were the two fellow lady traders in the chat room amongst all these other Forex traders. So that's how I first met. And so when first met traders was really through, and then we started, her and I would email. He and I, the trainer, my mentor, would email as well. So it wasn't really until Twitter, I think Jason said it like 9-10 years ago, where it was just like, wow, there, like, you know, I can connect with all people all over the world. I mean, people in Europe are trading Forex and people in New York who are trading Forex. I mean, it really opened it up once we started to get these social media platforms. But yeah, in the beginning, it was, you know, it was chat rooms.
Got it. Yeah, I mean that's
kind of what you did, Jason.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I went on Yahoo message boards and networked there, and that was where I was posting, and then created a whole net community. It was crazy. That was back in the day. Spencer Israel, you're aging me now.
I'm aging you. Okay. Lydia Idem Finkley has been on with us. She's a Forex trader and the author of FaithMightFX.com. Lydia, thanks so much for the time. Have a good rest of your day, and yeah, have a good one.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Have a good one.
All right. 8:51 now.
Wait, I just want to, Raz, did you get out there at 398 and NXTD? We just hit $4.
Oh, I mean, why'd I bring it up, guys? I brought it up because listen, I want to make traders and investors money on the show. And also speaking of making the money, if someone emails events@benzinga.com with a tweet to the BZ Forum right now, we'll pick one lucky winner of a free ticket for the Women's Wealth Forum. So bzforum.com. If you share us a tweet that you tweeted about it, we'll pick one lucky winner to win a free ticket. So for first one to email in, bzforum.com, tweet, you send it to events@benzinga.com. One person will win a free ticket. And that NXT every day, Joel. Every day, we're going to find money-making ideas. That's the name of the game. And we're up. Joel likes to use numbers. I like to, get some percentages. And it is this Discover Financial thing. I don't know if the news team, Luke or Nick, have been covering this on the .com section. But when I brought up the NXTD to you guys, it was up 28%. Now we're up 61%. We are at 351. I brought it to you guys at around 270, and I found it because we were sitting here talking about movers in the morning, and I found it by going to Benzinga Pro and hitting the screener and then selecting just pre-market, Joel, and that showed me the gainers and movers with some volume because Joel on the show advised me, look at the volume. That's what we did. I did. We looked at the short interest. So listen, this stock is in play. We don't know. We can't tell what's going to be at the end of the day.
Who cares where it's at the end of the day, right?
Good
I mean, day traders so another thing, we backed off to 360 here. Another thing, if you are trading this 398, we mentioned was the January high, $4. If you want to see continuation here, boom, you got to barrel through $4, but the volume increases coming in those stocks. And wow, just traded let's see, in this last bracket here, it has 5 more minutes in it. If we traded over 500,000 shares, that's almost double the volume from Friday.
The last thing I would note on that is look at the float, 22.7 million shares. So a small float. So these small stocks, we see this all the time, can move in pre-market. So it'll be one to keep an eye on at the open for sure when there's serious price discovery. All right, 8:54 now, got about 5 minutes before our final guest of the day. You want to look at some earnings that are reporting after the bell, Joel?
Sure, little action ahead of the earnings.
We have a couple interesting ones. Someone's talking about it in the chat as well, and I want to start with Clovis Oncology. CLVS is due to report today after the bell. Let me get their numbers that were.
But When you're pulling that up and you're getting their numbers, who is the next guest? So people can be.
Yeah, Kiana Danial is the next guest. She runs InvestDiva.
Got it. So
.com.
Go back to Clovis. I just,
okay.
I like to. You got to tease us a little bit to people.
Okay, I'm teasing. I'm teasing them. Clovis is what I'm teasing them. And they are expected to report $20.3 million revenue. Again, that's the estimate, and a EPS loss of $1.30 is what CLVS is expected to do today after the bell. Where are we at on the chart?
Oh, another quick quiz here for Spencer. Clovis Oncology. What do you really think is going to move this? I mean, earnings are important.
No, so okay, we know that earnings don't move biotech stocks as much as drug approval or denials do. We know that.
Okay.
But it's still a catalyst.
No, it is. Okay. And they may come out and say, hey, we're entering another trial, or we've entered a partnership. Right. So it is an important thing. But it's really, if you're trading these stocks, you got to be on top of the trials and what the FDA is doing and stuff. This one's been a wild one. Had a really nice run in 2017 from $40 to over 100, and been peeling back here. I'm not sure what the news took it down to 46.78. So what you had? You had a 53-point move. Half of that is 26, and 47, 57. It hasn't quite had the 50% retracement, but folks, keep an eye on the $60 level. If it does go into rally mode today, your high from Thursday, 60.03. Your high on Friday, 60.25. Then you lost a lot of altitude. You dropped from 59.98 to 56.84. So a little trepidation here. Perhaps profits coming out of this after it's run off that last low going into the report. But super, whether you're trading this through the report or today, $60, major resistance in Clovis Oncology.
Fitbit also due to report today after the bell. In their 3 years as a public company, they have missed their EPS estimate one time. That was in 2017. They're expected to lose a penny and make a report $588 million in revenue is FIT.
Lisa has one. She got one for her birthday, and she's always like tapping it, like to see if it's working and stuff.
You got to tap it for it to light up.
Boy, just made its all-time low back here in the month of February 9th at 490. We've gotten off the map here, not much over $5. Recent high 569. I mean, supported 5, I guess I could tell you. And then your major resistance is just over 560, 563, 569. Double top from February 14th and 15th.
All right, last one I'll do. Palo Alto Networks, PANW, due to report 79 cents and $524.75 million after the close.
Stock's been on a nice run here, trading up 96 cents in the pre-market. If you're looking at perhaps exit this ahead of the report, the recent high of the move has been 167.73. That was backed up by a 167 high. That stock not traded in the 170 handle. Boy, oh boy, when's the last time? Last time it traded in the 170 handle, you have to go all the way back to January of 2016. So nice little run up here since the low in February. And they had a good report last time. See if you can get some follow through from PANW.
I want to do one quick rating before we go to our guest. Finish line. The analyst sentiment has turned. It's getting its third upgrade in as many months now. Susquehanna upgrading finish line this morning to positive. I guess that's their version of a buy. Joining Buckingham and Deutsche Bank to upgrade finish line in the past few months.
Okay, analysts getting on the same bandwagon here. We are up 72 cents. That's a big move. Now, opposed to that NXTD, this is up on less than 2,000 shares. So I'm a little bit more hesitant about the move. But one thing you can't ignore, this thing's been struggling to get over $11. Several highs at 1080s, 1070 to 1080. So maybe for this one, I like to see if it can, peel back a little bit after that opening move and come back and fill the gap. Don't think we're going to get down all the way to yesterday's range at 1057, but may see some quick profit takers come in. But if you're looking at a daily chart, definitely a breakout here over 11.
All right, we've got another trader joining us right now, Kiana Danial. She is the CEO of InvestDiva. She's also the author of the InvestDiva's Guide to Making Money in Forex. What does she trade? She trades Forex and she trades
equities too.
Everything.
Yep.
Everything. Okay. She trades everything. We'll be right back with Kiana in a moment. Welcome back, everyone. This is PreMarket Prep. Spencer Israel, Joel Elconin, Jason Raznick, and we are on now with Kiana Danial, CEO of InvestDiva. Kiana, how's it going today?
It's going great. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. Well, so is it a happy Monday? It's a little quiet in the markets for us this morning. Not a ton of news. Well, what's your morning market routine like?
My market routine. Well, now that I have to throw it out there. I'm pregnant. I'm always awake during the night, so I'm constantly checking my portfolio, especially when it comes to Forex and cryptocurrencies. So the routine normally is like I wake up in the morning, I look at the news, I check out my chart, and I'm like, okay, that's great. Because Mondays I normally don't do any strategy development. I wait for the markets to calm down a little bit, and I do majority of my strategies on Tuesday. So Mondays is actually relatively a good day for me comparing to the rest of the market. Tuesdays is a lot more challenging.
And so how you feeling? Are you adding to your position here in life? When is your due date?
Next week, International Women's Day. So I'm due next Thursday.
So you're adding to your position in life. How do you trade while this is happening?
So I have obviously set. Because I'm going to be away from my desk, probably, if I can. I'm not sure. I think I'm going to be checking my portfolio the minute I give birth, but we'll see. But for that, I have set up strict risk management strategies. So if something happens while I'm in the hospital, I don't get completely screwed over. But I think I'm going to take off only a week from the markets because there are a lot of people in my company who are relying on my guidance. So I can't really be away that long.
Tell us about those risk management strategies. What exactly are you doing?
So basically, I am, as you know, my portfolio consists of Forex, cryptocurrencies, stocks, and ETFs. And with stocks and ETFs, it's much easier. I just have set up a ton of limit orders in case there is another pullback in the market while I'm away so that I don't miss out on some of the opportunities to grow my portfolio. In terms of Forex, I normally don't use stop losses, but at this point, because it's a little bit tricky with the Forex market at the moment, and there are not really a clear direction in majority of major currency pairs, I have set up some stop losses for my portfolio. With cryptocurrencies also, I'm not adding anything in the coming weeks. So I'm just sticking to my positions and I'm not really going to trade more than I should. So that has been.
So I have a question for you. So if you're in the delivery room there and you know how they have all those monitors up and everything, if they said, you know what, Kiana, we'll let you have one chart or one equity or one future or one cryptocurrency, just so you can keep an eye on things, what would you have on that one? I know what I would have. Well, I won't be having a baby soon, but I'd be keeping an eye on the S&Ps. What would you have up there?
That's a great question. Well, the thing is, I don't want to have any stress. I'm going to have a chart of a beach over there. But something that might stress me out would be something, actually cryptocurrencies stress me out a little bit more than equities or S&Ps. So at this time, so that would be what I will have. I'll probably have Bitcoin up or Ripple.
All right, and we have the Women's Wealth Forum coming up here in March, and you have a good excuse for not attending there. You'll be attending to your new baby here. How you got started in the industry, any obstacles or any advice you have for young women that want to break into the finance industry?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I started out as an engineer, and I studied electrical engineering in Japan, actually, and it has been tough. I'm not going to lie. And in my school in Japan, I was the only girl in my class for 6 years. It was pretty tough. I came to New York. I started off on Wall Street, again with the strategy development and analyst team. I was the only girl as well, and it has definitely been incredibly tough being a woman and being taken seriously in the field and being considered at the same level as the other people, or even getting paid at the same level as the men. It's still a challenge when it comes to corporations. But one thing that is the reason why I created InvestDiva, and I wanted to help women to get into the field with no intimidation. However, one thing that I have seen recently, which really gives me hope for the future, is that since I made my company be available only online, and at the beginning, and the name InvestDiva is very feminine, so I thought that I'm only going to get women. But the interesting thing is that over 65% of my students and subscribers are men. And that was, first of all, very, it made me feel very optimistic that, okay, so these men actually do trust a woman's strategic advice. But not only that, they have been some of the most vocal advocates now for our products. And so I'm definitely seeing a change. There's not only they are saying, oh, I don't want to be a part of this, but they are a part of it and they're advocates. But the difference that I see here, though, it is that it is online. I'm not physically there. So I would still say that being physically in a male-dominated company, or even when I attend events, it is a little bit more challenging. But online, at least, it is getting a little bit easier. For women that are getting into the financial world, first of all, there is no better time than now, because there's a lot of conversation going on, and there's a lot of people who are becoming more and more open-minded and understanding the points of views of both directions, men and women. And the only advice is that do not give up and hold your head up, and you have got what it takes to go very, very far.
Kiana, what initially drew you in to the world of Wall Street? You're an engineer, so what drew you in?
2008 market crash, which I made money at. So I had no idea about finance. And, as an engineer in Japan, like, even thinking about money is a very cultural no thing. So my professor was really mad at me that I was even looking at the markets during the market crash. It's like, you're an engineer. You shouldn't care about money. Why are you talking about finance? Like, why do you even want to learn about it? I didn't know anything about it anyway, but all I could hear was that the US dollar was dropping and Japanese yen is like going higher, and it's really creating a mess. And Lehman Brothers is going down, and I didn't know who Lehman Brothers are. Like, I didn't know anything. But I did have savings in Japanese yen, and I knew that because my family is in the US, I knew that at some point I might gonna come to the US. So I decided to exchange my Japanese yen to the US dollar, but it was going down every day. I was like, okay, when is the best time to exchange it? I want to exchange at the lowest rate. And one of my Japanese friends, who was actually a woman, introduced me to Forex and said you can actually add leverage. And if it's going to go down to this level that we think it's going to be, you can take a massive profit off of it. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. So she set it up for me. I got in with 14 times leverage. I put in $10,000 worth of Japanese yen. And within a month, it was doubled And that was I was like, wow, this is awesome. As a college student, $10,000 in a month. It was great. So that is how I got interested in the financial world. And I decided to pursue it and come to Wall Street.
One thing we asked our last guest, Kiana, is how did you build your network? It can be a little more challenging for women than for men. So how did you sort of build, when you decided to go full time and make this your career, how did you build your network in the industry?
So when I was living in the city in Manhattan, that was, I was a social butterfly. I was going to each and every event. I'm not sure what you mean by network. Do you mean my followers or the people in the industry that I work with?
People that you know. Just how'd you meet people?
Right. So I was a social butterfly. So I was going to each and every event, and no matter how, some people were very welcoming, some people were not, and some people were like, "What are you even doing here? You're not in the finance world." I didn't take it too hard. I took a lot of advice from a lot of people, and I put my thoughts out there. So I had this vision and this goal that I want to make investments more approachable for women. And I was getting advice from each and every person, getting mentors. And even if people didn't know what it is, I was like, do you know somebody who can help me with this? So I went to marketing events, financial events, entrepreneurship events, and people know people. So they started really getting into this movement and helping me out. So there are a lot of people who actually helped me. And I think it is very important that when you want to get something done, you really put it out there and talk to people about it, because they will then remember you and talk to people who could help you out along the way later on. And so that's how I really grew my network at the time. Now I'm in Westport, Connecticut, so I really can't do that. Everything is online.
So the takeaway that I took from that is everyone you talk to, you always said, who else do you know? Or who do you know that can help me, right?
Absolutely. First of all, I always put my goals and everything that I had, my ambitions up front. This is what I want to do. And if they were not the right person to help me out, I would ask them, do you know somebody who could help me out? And yeah, a lot of people did.
All right. Kiana Danial has been on the line with us. InvestDiva is her site. Again, she trades pretty much everything, Forex, stocks, ETFs, even the cryptos. You were on our show last time, and I think we were surprised that you were in the cryptos last time you were on. Can you give us an update real quick on your crypto positions?
Sure. Yeah. So my let me take a look at my portfolio. So I'm basically diversifying with my crypto positions. I'm also mining, as I mentioned briefly before. But some of my favorite ones, if you look at, I am going mainly with the top 10. And favorite ones, definitely Ripple. I think it has a bright future. And Bitcoin, I'm in it, but not too much, because I think it could be a little bit of a bubble at the end of it. It is a very good price right now, even if you want to get it at this point. Majority of the major ones are right now just bouncing off the support level. If you do technical analysis, one good thing about all the cryptocurrencies is now market sentiment is actually seeming to have caught up, and the buzz and the bubble is kind of calming down. So we actually can conduct technical analysis for it. So right now, what I'm looking for across the board, Ripple, Litecoin, Bitcoin, Ethereum, all of them, is for the next bullish movement that will help cross over this resistance that they've been bouncing back and off since the previous pullback. So yeah, across the board, I'm kind of diversifying really a little bit into everything so that I don't get burned heavily if one of them goes burst.
Spencer, just to chime in, you said you're in Ripple. Ripple, the founder of Ripple, Chris Larson was at our event in August in San Fran, and we're talking about women investing with the Women Wealth Forum, the BZ Forum, March 21st in Boston, which will hopefully bring bring out new, founders of these cryptos that, when we were with them in August, no one was talking about Ripple. And then it became, everyone's talking about it. So that's what we try to do at these events. So you're in Westport. You're in a nice little place. My sister used to live there. Does that mean you get to the city? Do you commute to the city at all, or because Westport's in a really nice, strategically located place?
It is a little bit far away, but so right now in the past 6 months, I haven't really been going to the city, but I teach at Baruch College as an adjunct professor. So yes, I do go to the city once or twice a week for that purpose, but it is a little bit tough. The commute is a challenge for sure.
So you don't mind Ripple? You don't mind Ripple being, not decentralized? Like, I know some crypto people don't like Ripple because it's, it's centralized from, versus the decentralized version of Bitcoin.
So I think Ripple is if you're into cryptocurrencies, Ripple, the crypto, and the Ripple and the company are two different things, as you know. And what I like about Ripple, the company, is the partnerships that they have made, and they are fabulous. And they're now getting into the emerging markets, and they're really putting it out there. The Ripple, the cryptocurrency, they're not using it as much with the partnerships, I know. But I think because their company's management is so smart and so sophisticated that eventually they will bring Ripple, the cryptocurrency, also along. So right now Ripple is pretty cheap. It's like you can buy it under $1.
Mm-hmm.
And this for me would be more of a longer term. So right now, maybe in the next year, we won't see a massive surge in Ripple, the cryptocurrency, but eventually I think we would. Yep. I'm just having faith in the company's management.
Yep. And the adoption. And that's the thing you got to do with these things. It's not going to happen overnight. I mean, that's if you got to get in early, and it's hard to choose, but if you can do your due diligence and find some of the winners, you'll profit off it.
Exactly.
All right. Kiana Danial has been with us, InvestDiva.com. Kiana, thank you so much for coming on. I don't think we'll speak to you before your due date. So good luck. Hope everything goes well. We'll definitely talk to you after that, and you can tell us about support and resistance. I was trying to make a joke there about the baby weight, and I just butchered that.
Come on. There's going to be a lot of resistance in the building.
I butchered that. All right. Thanks a lot, Kiana.
Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, that is it for us today. 9:16. We're going to go a little longer. Pretty much every day this week. Actually, we have a lot of guests lined up at 9 and 9:15. So expect longer shows throughout the week.
Wait, before you end it, you haven't given me any update on the numbers, Israel.
I can't keep track of that during the show.
So I know, but I just the ones and twos, the ones who want music during the commercials, who don't. Okay. Two if you don't, ones if you do. Feel free to chime in.
All right. I'll count them.
I'm talking to you guys in the chat room. I'm a supporter of the ones, playing music during commercials, and you don't like music during commercials. I get it.
Not what I said, but okay.
Okay. Then I apologize. He did not say that. So
quick wrap.
Yes.
S&P futures up 975, 58 and a quarter. Pre-market high 61.50. So that's your first bogey on the upside. Razorstock NXTD has found some profit taking. We're only trading up $1.23 now. Almost 2 million shares have traded. That $4 level really sticking out now since we backed off 60 cents. Spencer or Jason, any final comments from you? And Spencer, what's the guest for him? Who are the guests for him?
Yeah, we need.
I didn't get a chance to read them yet. We are joined by 3 guests on tomorrow's show. Nicole at Duke. She's a futures trader. Tracy Shukart, also a trader. I'm sorry, I said 3 guests. I meant 4 guests. Kate Stalter will join us at 9. She is a more of a long-term investment horizon. Then at 9:15, we are joined by Angie Baby in the chat. So I always say, whenever we have people in the chat come on the show, if you're in our chat and you want to come on the show, email us premarket.benzinga.
That's not an email address. That's a URL.
Premarket@benzinga.com. Okay, it's been a long morning. Premarket@benzinga.com. If you just email us, it goes to the whole crew here, and we can get you on our show if you're in our chat and that interests you.
And come meet some of us. First, I don't know if someone's emailed events@benzinga, but I want to give out a couple of comp tickets to people. March 21st, go to bzform.com. to learn more about the Women Wealth Forum. It's not just women, but it's a focus of the event. So please email us if you'd like to come. And there's a coupon code of what was the coupon code?
It was PMP. Is the code.
PMP, pre-market prep. And then Joel asked me for some last minute thoughts. I mean, this Tesla is supporting above 354. I was last on the show when Tesla was getting killed at 312, 306 range. And I had the same bullish viewpoint. You can't guess these during the day. These are long-term investments. There's also some other interesting plays. I have 2 that I'll reveal tomorrow. And that will be the teas. It's been great being on the show. You guys, the community is active. Hundreds, thousands of people chatting and listening. It's awesome. And Joel and Spencer do an amazing job. We miss Dennis, but we're looking forward to, chatting with you guys tomorrow.
Yep. I hope Dennis is okay with his kids in Disney World. But that's it for us today, folks. Have a good one. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for listening.